Okay, I thought I'd do a couple of review problem videos. I don't have time to do very many, but I can add a few on here. So the first one is number 9. You've got a line 3, 4, 1, and it's perpendicular to this line. Now the whole reason they gave me this second set of information, this perpendicular to this line, is that I can find the slope of this line, 3x plus y is -5, and 3x plus y is equal to 5. I can find the slope, and I want the perpendicular slope for my line. The only thing I want from this part I circled in red is to take the slope and then find the perpendicular slope to that slope that I find. So let's subtract the 3x. I'm solving for y, and the reason I'm solving for y is that then, once I do it, it puts it in y equal mx plus b form. So I can know what the slope is by looking in front of the x term. My slope here in this line they gave me is -3, but I don't want -3 for my slope. I want the perpendicular slope. So the perpendicular slope to m would be, change the sign, it was negative, so that becomes positive, and if I think of it as 301 and I flip the fraction, I get 1/3. So my slope is going to be positive 1/3. I am now done with all this over here, and I can forget about it. So now if you look at what I have a point. There's an x of that point, we'll call it x1. There's the y of that point, we'll call it y1. I have a point, and I have a slope. Aha! I have a formula that says the point slope formula, and what it is y minus y1 is mx minus x1. And I know what my slope is. I just took the time to find it. It was the perpendicular one to the line they gave me. So my slope over here is 1/3 x minus y minus. Okay, so let's go fill in those other things there. Now x1 was 4. That's what I put here. I'll just close the parentheses. y1 was 1. Alright, so now this is the line, but the problem is if you look at your answers in the review, and this is the way the test works too, most of the times with lines they give you like them in standard form, which is not very fun. Because now I got to simplify this. Y minus 1 is 1/3 x minus 4/3. Alright, if I'm going to put this in standard form, I could clear out the fractions. That's what we did in class. We said since I got a bunch of 3's, let me just multiply everybody by 3. That's really the fastest way to take care of this issue here and get rid of fractions. So it's 3 times y minus 1 is 3 times 1/3 x minus 4/3. Alright, so if I multiply that out, I'm going to get 3y minus 3. And on the other side, 3 times 1/3 is just 1x, and 3 times -4/3 would be just a -4. So now I want the x and the y on the same side. All of this is just putting it in the right form. We actually found the equation way up here, didn't we? We're just now putting it in the right form so we can pick a multiple choice answer. So if I want the x and the y on the same side, since my x is positive over there on the right hand side, let me just move my y's over there with them. That way, at least I've got that going for me there. So it's x minus 3y minus 4. You kind of come over here and work. Now I want to get the numbers all on one side. So I had a minus 4 here. So let me add 4 to both sides. Oh, that's -3 plus 4 is a positive 1 is equal to x minus 3y. Or I could write it as x minus 3y is equal to 1. So if you look at the book, that's matching up with C there. So C is the correct answer. Okay, let's look at number 10 and try to get through as many as I can on a video. Now, when I have this situation, if you remember, when I got things lined up like this and they want me to solve the system, usually the easiest thing to do is to do elimination or adding the equations together. If I add them the way they are, nothing's going to cancel out. And remember, the goal of adding the equations, which is also called linear combination or elimination, is to get something to cancel out. It would be really easy for me to get those x's to cancel out if I just had a 4x, because I got a positive 4x. If I multiply that negative 2x by 2, then I would have this. I'll move over here. I would have 4x plus 3y is 7. I'm not changing the top equation. But then 2 times negative 2x would be a negative 4x. And that would cause it to cancel out. So I just chose to get rid of the x's because I saw that one was a positive and one was a negative, and it was really easy to come up with multiplying by 2 there. But if I multiply that by 2, I got to do everybody by 2. So 2 times y is 2y, and then 2 times 9 is 18. Now that would cancel out. That's why I did it, right? And I'm going to get 5y equal 25. Oh, divide both sides by 5. Y is 5. So now I know that y is 5. How am I going to find x? Well, let me do this. I'm going to pick one of the equations. I'm just going to pick this one, okay? Negative 2x plus y is 9. But now I know what y is. Y is 5. So I could solve and figure out what the x is. Remember, my answer is a point, and y is 5. But I got to, that's a 5. I know it looks like a 6, but this app doesn't allow me to erase easily. It usually messes the whole video up. I need to find the x that goes with it. Well, if I plugged it in, I can just say, well, subtract 5 from both sides. Negative 2x is 9 minus 5, which is 4. And then divide both sides by negative 2. Oh, x is negative 2. So my answer is negative 2, 5, which matches up with C. And we have time for one more. Okay, so this is the problem given on 14. Now, if you remember what to do, I'm going to kind of use yellow. I focus on this F part, and if you remember what I did in class, I actually covered that G of 1 up with my hand. So what that tells me to do is this. I'm supposed to go get the F function, which is 3 minus something squared. And what this is telling me is what I'm supposed to plug in for this x up here is the stuff that was in parentheses. So now I might uncover, and what do I have in the parentheses? I have G of 1. Now, one of the things that a lot of people like to do is they like to come off to the side and say, well, what is G of 1? That means go get that G function, which is x plus 2. Yeah, it's x plus, this is a 2 here. I kind of got a little sloppy. X plus 2. And instead of, what am I plugging in for x? I'm plugging in 1. Okay, so that's equal to 1 plus 2, which is 3. Oh, okay, so what am I supposed to come over here? Let me write this in black because I know that yellow is hard to read. What I was supposed to put in here was G of 1 goes in there, but I already figured out G of 1 is 3. So this is 3 minus 3 squared is 9. And 3 minus 9 is negative 6. So the answer there matches up with A. Hope that helps to have at least a few of these done on video.